Right, today we are going to see JSP flow of execution. Before going to start JSP flow of execution, first we have to understand some details about JSP technology. JSP is a server-side technology. It can be used to prepare presentation part or a view part in web application development. JSP technology was designed on the top of core Java J2SE part and Servlet API. Fine. In general, in web applications, we can deploy JSP pages at any location in the web application directory structure. We can deploy JSP page under application folder, and we can deploy JSP page under WebINF folder and as well as in classes folder. But always it is suggestible to deploy JSP pages under application folder. If we deploy JSP page under application folder, we can access that JSP page directly with its name, just like HTML page. If we deploy JSP page under WebINF folder or under classes folder, then we have to configure JSP page in web.xml file with a particular URL pattern. By using that URL pattern only, we can access that JSP page which was deployed under WebINF folder and under classes folder. So today we are going to see the JSP flow of execution, how the JSP page is going to be executed when we submit a request to the particular JSP page. For example, if we come for server side application, this is server side, this is client side here. This is main server what we provided. Right, along with main server, container will be available. This is container. Now along with the container, we have our own web application. This is our web application part. Application name, let's say for example some app, first app. Inside this application folder, I want to deploy a JSP page like first.jsp, where some data we have written. After this, I want to prepare WebINF folder. This is WebINF folder. Inside this WebINF folder, I will prepare classes folder. In my application, just I have only a JSP page available under application folder. No servlet is available, no web.xml file is required. This is my application in my server. Fine. Along with this application, I want to utilize this area is for processing, operational area. As usual, when we write along with that, a client will be available. This is a client browser. We can understand between client and server, protocol is existed. This is protocol. Next one. As usual, when we start the server, container will recognize all the web applications. Container will deploy all the web applications to the server. For each and every web application, a servlet context object will be created. As usual, for this first app, for this application, automatically one object will be created. That object is called as which one? Servlet context object. After deploying web application, after creating servlet context object, automatically server will be started. Whenever server is started, now from client to browser, I want to access first.jsp. To access this first.jsp, first here we have to specify some URL. What about that URL here? http:// localhost 8080 / application first app and we need to specify JSP page name. Whenever we specify this is application name, automatically this is complete URL, automatically a request will come to like protocol. Now protocol will establish a socket connection between client and server on the basis of server IP address, on the basis of server port number. Protocol will prepare a request format. This request format contains header part and body part. Header part will manage complete browser metadata, which zipping format is supported, which encoding mechanisms are supported by this browser, what exactly the locale is managed by this client browser. Body part will manage application user provided data, application data. If user has provided any data in the form, then the data will be provided in the body part. But here we are not having any data, just we are accessing the JSP page now. Whenever request format is prepared, then protocol will carry that request format to the main server, header part and body part. Whenever request format is available to main server will validate that request. If the request is valid request, then that request will be bypassed to, will be forwarded to container. Here, what is the job of the container? Container will identify what exactly the application name here. Application name what we specified here now, first app. So application name is first app. Next one, what exactly the resource name we specified here now? That resource name is first.jsp page. So resource is first.jsp. Now this is first.jsp. Container will identify what exactly the resource name, what exactly the requested application. Now container will understand this is a JSP page. This request is coming for a particular JSP page. Right, container directly will go to first app application folder and directly it will search for the respective JSP page. Whenever JSP page is identified under application folder, then container will take that first.jsp page and container directly will load that JSP page to memory, operational memory. Directly first.jsp page will be loaded to the operational memory. This is first.jsp. Now loading that JSP page from folder structure to the operational memory is nothing but which one? JSP loading. This phase is called as JSP loading. After loading the JSP page, container will perform parsing that JSP page. Now this is called as clearly JSP parsing. JSP parsing. After parsing that JSP page, automatically first.jsp page will be available. Whenever JSP page is parsed, then immediately container will perform translation of this JSP page to the servlet. That means this is translation phase. Whenever JSP page is translated, automatically servlet class, servlet file will be created. If the JSP file name is first.jsp, automatically the translated servlet file name will be first_jsp.java. Right here some .java code will be available. Whenever translated servlet is created, .java file is created, that must be compiled by the container. Now this is which one? Servlet compilation. Servlet compilation. Whenever servlet is compiled, automatically .class file will be created. First_jsp .class file is created. Whenever .class file is created, now onwards servlet lifecycle is going to be started. As I said to you, every JSP page is running on the top of servlet. That means whenever we submit a request for a particular JSP page, that JSP page will be translated to the servlet. That servlet will be executed. By the execution of that servlet, requested response, the required response will be generated from the respective client. Now in this scenario, first of all, JSP page is loaded. Next one, JSP page is parsed. Parsing the JSP page is nothing but checking the syntaxes of the tags which are available inside the JSP page. After parsing the JSP page is translated to the particular servlet class. That means Java file will be created. If the file name is JSP file name is first.jsp, automatically the translated servlet class name should be first underscore JSP, and the translated servlet file would be first underscore JSP.java. Whenever first underscore JSP.java servlet file will be was created, automatically container will compile that servlet Java file. Automatically that Java file is going to be generated which one? First underscore JSP.class file. Whenever servlet.class file is created, then container will perform servlet lifecycle. That servlet lifecycle is nothing but which one? First one, servlet loading. Loading servlet batch code to the memory. After loading the servlet, container will create which one? Object for the respective servlet. Now this is called as which one? Servlet initialization. As part of the servlet initialization, we can understand underscore JSP service method request comma response. Some implementation part is available. In the case of JSP translated servlet, Tomcat server, Tomcat container will provide underscore JSP service method to process the request, underscore JSP init method for the sake of initialization, underscore JSP destroy method for the sake of translated servlet deinitialization. You will see all these things. Now container is performing servlet loading. After loading that servlet, container is performing servlet initialization. After performing servlet initialization, container is performing servlet initialization. Now this is servlet initialization. As part of this servlet initialization, container will perform which one? Underscore JSP init method will be executed. By the execution of this underscore JSP init method, the required initialization will be performed. Whenever translated servlet initialization is completed, automatically a thread will be created to execute this underscore JSP service method. But to execute underscore JSP service method, container has to create two objects clearly. What are the two objects are created by the container? First one will be request object and another one will be response object. This is request object, this is response object. Request object contains the complete client information. Right, already said to you, request object contains three types of data: headers data, parameters data, and attributes data. At the time of creating request object, headers data and parameters data will be stored. But dynamic data, attributes data is a dynamic data. While executing servlets only, that dynamic data will be stored onto the request object. Whenever a thread is assigned to this underscore JSP service method to execute, now this thread is continuing its execution part. Whenever the thread is executing underscore JSP service method, automatically some response will be available on response object. Whenever response is generated on response object, whenever this thread is reached to the ending point of this underscore JSP service method, automatically that thread will go to which one here now? Data stage. Whenever the thread is available in data state, now container will understand request to processing is completed. Immediately container will dispatch that complete response back to main server. Now that response will be given to main server will format that response will be given to protocol. Now protocol will prepare response format. In response format, again two parts are available, header part is available and body part is available. Response format header part is able to manage metadata about our response. That means which type of response is coming, what is the content type of the response. All these details are going to be managed in the header part. Body part will manage actual dynamic response what we prepared. Whenever this response format is prepared, automatically that response format will be dispatched to respective client. Now here header part and body part response format. Whenever response format is coming to client browser will take the data body part and it able to display the actual response here. Let's say for example, actual response is welcome to Durgasoft for example. Durgasoft is an example we have taken, is a response what I implemented here now. Whenever response is coming to the client, immediately protocol will terminate the connection what we established. Whenever connection is terminated, container will understand application execution is completed required response is sent back to the respective client. So it is not required to manage request and response objects. Immediately container will destroy request object and response object clearly. Whenever request and response objects are destroyed, container will go to like a waiting state. Whenever container is in waiting state, whenever how much time the content is available in waiting state is not predictable, that is totally depending on container implementation. When further requests are not coming to the same resource, then container is going to perform servlet to deinstantiation. To perform this servlet deinstantiation, container will call internally underscore JSP destroy method. This underscore JSP destroy method is executed by the container to perform servlet deinstantiation. Whenever servlet deinstantiation is completed, immediately container will perform servlet unloading. Whenever servlet unloading is performed, then container will go to JSP unloading. This is clearly JSP unloading. Whenever JSP unloading is completed here, entire request processing is completed, the respective JSP execution is completed here now. Right, after completion of this entire application, whenever the server is shut down or whenever web application is undeployed from our server, then immediately container will destroy one more object. Now that object is which one? Servlet object. Servlet context object is destroyed completely. Fine. Up to now we have discussed about how a JSP page is executed clearly when we submit a request from client to server. As part of our discussion, I said to you clearly, when we submit a request to server for a particular JSP page, container will translate that JSP page to a particular servlet. Now we will understand what exactly that servlet, what exactly the nature of that servlet, what Tomcat server is providing that servlet. We will understand this type of topics here. Let us understand this point here. Initially we have JSP page. This is one interface. For this, a sub interface is available, that is HTTP JSP page. This is another interface. Now HTTP JSP page interface is implemented in HTTP JSP base. This is class. Next one, HTTP JSP base class is a default superclass for translated servlet. This is first underscore JSP. This first underscore JSP is generated from first.jsp. At the same time, this HTTP JSP base is a child class to HTTP servlet. This is abstract class. HTTP servlet is a child class to generic servlet. This is abstract class. Generic servlet is an implementation class to servlet interface. Fine. This is overall flow. Now here the relationships are which one? This is extends and this is implements and this is extends and this is extends and this is implements and this is clearly extends. This is translation we need to identify. We can understand when we submit a request to, okay, before that JSP page interface as declared public void underscore JSP service of HTTP servlet request, HTTP servlet response. HTTP JSP page interface has declared two methods, public void underscore JSP init method, public void underscore JSP destroy method. These three methods are implemented in HTTP JSP base class with the default implementation part. Fine. Whenever we submit a request to first.jsp, container will translate first.jsp to first underscore JSP. First underscore JSP is a child class to HTTP JSP base class. Here the point is which one? In the case of Tomcat server, in the case of Tomcat provided web container, the default superclass for every translated servlet from JSP base is HTTP JSP base class. HTTP JSP base class is a child class to HTTP servlet and it is an implementation class to HTTP JSP page interface. Whenever it is an implementation class to HTTP JSP page interface, then it must provide implementation part for all the three methods which are declared in JSP page interface, HTTP JSP page interface. And overall, underscore JSP service method, underscore JSP init method, underscore JSP destroy method, all these methods are implemented inside HTTP JSP base class with the default implementation. Whenever we submit a request for this first.jsp, that automatically first.jsp base will be translated to first underscore JSP class. Now this first underscore JSP class is overriding underscore JSP service method of HTTP JSP base class. It is overriding underscore JSP service method of HTTP JSP base class with the content of first.jsp base. Whatever the data we specified in first.jsp base, the data will be available in underscore JSP service method of first underscore JSP, which is overriding of HTTP JSP base class underscore JSP service method. So in the case of Tomcat server, in the case of web container of this Tomcat server, the translated servlet is a child class for HTTP JSP base. HTTP JSP base is a child class for HTTP servlet. Overall, on conclusion wise, I am telling first underscore JSP is a child class for HTTP servlet. The translated servlet is by default HTTP servlet in the case of Tomcat server. That's all about clearly the translated servlet, what exactly the behavior of this translated servlet here. So this point we are extracted from JSP lifecycle, what we have seen just now. That's all about our content.